Hello students, welcome into the new session of CS22 Operating System Concepts using Linux and Unix. As all of you knows that we are discussing about the introductory part, that is unit number 1, or we can say the chapter number 1, where first we have introduced the concept of operating system in terms of definition, and then we have started with various functionality of operating system handles. And at last, in my previous session, we have discussed about the file management. So now let's continue with the further topic. After the file management, next topic of the discussion which comes under the functionality part is miscellaneous other important activities, or we can say the other important activities. Operating system not only provides the memory management, process management, input output management, file management, but it also supports various other activities like it provides the security, it have control over the system performance, job accounting, error detection aids, or we can say the error detection code, and the last one is coordination between the other application softwares and users. So what all this says are, first we'll discuss about security. Security means obviously the authentication which is provided by the operating system while the various user access the internal resources or the resources of operating system. By what does it means? It means that security is provided through the password and similar other techniques. It prevents unauthorized access to program and data. Say for example, right now I am using Windows 10 operating system in my system. Whenever I starts my computer, after the completion of the entire booting process, first it will ask me to enter my password. If I entered my correct password, then and then the desktop will be displayed onto the screen. Otherwise, it keep authorization window as it is onto the screen. That means without the permission of exit password, none of the unauthorized access get into the operating system. So this is the security feature which has been provided by the operating system. In short, higher operating system like Windows 10 provides the security feature in which we can enter our password for performing the other several tasks. The next one is control over the system performance. That means this particular functionality is actually related with the delay or the response time which is given by the resources of the system. That means, for example, suppose user have requested some execution from the operating system, and within a fraction of time his operating system is unable to give the response to that particular user, that considers under the system performance as it is a valid request. Again I am repeating my words. This second functionality is related with the time, or you can say the delay between request of the service and response from the system. Say for example, user has requested any valid request into the operating system, but operating system is unable to give the response to that particular request within a fraction of time, then it considered under the functionality of system performance. Operating system tries to find out that why that particular request is not get completed within a fraction of time, and what was the reason behind this. Obviously there might be the several reason like the user who has requested might have not occupied the valid resources. Even the resources are not free to give the particular response. The system get infected with the virus or system get occupied with major processes. So it would be considered under the control over the system performance and try to reduce the delay between the request of the service and response which is given by the system. Now the third one is job accounting. Generally what happens, user is considered to be a multitasking person. That means user can request the multiple tasks from the operating system. So job accounting should be done by the operating system. What does it means? Job accounting actually keep tracks of the time and resources used by the various job and user. If some of the job which is used by the users are pending for the large time, then operating system will kill that particular process and free up the resources which can be used by the users and the resources for the further process. Let me again repeat the entire statement. What is job accounting? Job accounting is again another functionality of operating system where it keep tracks the time and the resources which is used by various job and users. What does it means? It means that user can request multiple number of requests from the operating system. If some of the information takes longer time to get executed inside the system, it might possible that that process is incomplete into the system, that should be killed by operating system and free up the resources for using it for the other information. So that could be handled using the component called job accounting. Next is error detection codes. Now, as the name is suggested, it works with the exceptional part of the operating system where it shows a proper message, a proper error message onto the screen that the user begins to know that I have done this wrong step while I am accessing the resources of operating system. That means user might be a technical person or might be a non-technical person. If user has entered some wrong information or trying to access the unauthorized data from the operating system, then operating system should show the proper message onto the screen that the user becomes to know that I am doing the wrong task into the operating system. So that could be handled by error detecting codes. See, right now I am just considering the one part only, that is called as user. Even this could be applicable to the other resources also, right? If something goes wrong into the operating system due to the lack of resources, due to the occupancy of the resources, due to the internal errors of operating system, then particular message should show onto the screen. That entire thing is handled by one of the component of operating system which is called as error detection code. In short, don't get more confused about all these component. Error detection code will show a proper error message onto the screen that the user becomes to know that this is going wrong into the operating system. That's it. The next one is coordination between the other softwares and user. This is one of the main task of operating system. No doubt many main task has been handled by operating system, but this one is the major one. We knows that operating system considered as a system software. Actually, it provides the platform to the users to access the hardware, and even vice versa, it also provides platform to the hardware to produce the output and displays for the user. It's a bridge. It's something like a bridge in between the user and hardware. So once the system software get installed over the computer hardware, to satisfy the user's various requests, they might install third party application softwares like the bundle of Microsoft Office, programming in C, the compiler of programming in C, XAMPP, Oracle, etc. etc. I'm just giving all these names because you have already used all these softwares in previous semester. So all these softwares are application softwares. That means application software get installed into the system once the system software like operating system is already installed. Now here the word came in front, that is called as coordination. Say for example, user or any of the user from the multiple users has accessed one of the software which is already installed into the system. Again, I am repeating my words. The word called coordination comes into the picture now onwards. For example, many application softwares are already installed over the layer of system software, which is called as operating system. Now user or any of the user from the different multiple, or we can say the multiple users, tries to access any of the software from the entire bunch, then it is the responsibility of operating system to find out the exact location of that particular application software which is stored inside the core part of the secondary storage device. From that core part of secondary storage device, that particular application software get executed properly onto the screen. That is called as the coordination between the other softwares and user. What is the case number 2 over here? This is case number 1 which I have shared with all of you. Case number 2 is, say for example, a user 1 has started a Microsoft application called Windows Word. Operating system has found out the exact location of that particular application from the secondary storage device, and it has executed that particular application software for the user's request onto the screen, and it working very fine. Now that particular user has minimized that particular application software, and then he or she tries to open the another software called XAMPP. Then operating system should support the second request. It goes inside the core part of operating system, tries to find out the location of XAMPP into the secondary storage device. Once the search gets successful, it executes XAMPP application for the user, and it would be displayed onto the screen. Parallelly, user has not closed the Windows Word application. It should be there into the second tab, and if user press Alt tab from the keyboard application can get interchanged as per the need. So this is called as coordination between the softwares and users. Very precisely, I have mentioned onto the screen, which you can also read. Coordination and assignment of compiler, interpreter, assemblers and other software to the various users of the computer system. Now, apart from all the functionalities of operating system, few features of operating system which is very important to look are mentioned onto the screen. These are memory management, batch processing, real-time processing, error handling, file utilities, process management, task management, and hardware adaptability. These are the features of operating system prescribed into the syllabus. Now, after looking into the functionalities and the features of operating system, it's time to discuss about various types of operating system which supports all these functionality and features, or some of the functionality and features as per the historical development of operating system. Obviously, whenever the concept of operating system get introduced into the market of information technology, real-time operating system is not there. Means there is a periodical development into the operating system is there once the trial and error basis comes in front of the users. Let's continue with the different types of operating system. As you can see onto the screen, there are various types of operating systems are there. We have started with batch operating system, then we'll reach up to the real-time operating system which is right now available into the market, and we are using it into the routines. So let me first tell you the name of all types of operating system. Already the first name I have taken called batch operating system. Then second one is time sharing operating system. Third one is distributed operating system. Fourth one is networked operating system. And the last one is real-time operating system. Yes, we can also say that all these are the classifications of operating system. This question is very important for university examination. Question may be formed like this: what is operating system? Explain the different types of operating system. Then what we have to write? First, all the previous topic that we have discussed. In short, we have to write the definition and the functionality of operating system, and then we have to write the details about all this operating system which you can see onto the screen, starting from batch operating system to the real-time operating system. Now what we are going to do is we are going to discuss each and every operating system in detail. So obviously we'll start with the basic one, that is called as batch operating system. What is batch operating system? How it works? and what are the limitations of batch operating system is the topic of discussion. So let's start with the same. Batch operating system will not directly interact with the computer. Yes, it sounds strange. As it is an operating system and it is not directly interacting with the computer system, then why it is called as operating system? So for that, kindly refer Computer Fundamental subject of BCA semester 1, where there is a one topic called History of Computers, or we can say the generation of computers. In that particular subject, into the generation of computers, we have learned about various generation of computers starting from first generation to the fifth generation. Whenever the computer is became useful into the market, that means the first computer which is introduced into the market kept inside the category of first generation. If I am not forgetting, then the words are written into the book that computer is occupied a larger space where it is practically used. And in that computer, there is no keyboard and mouse. Plus, in that computer, as a electronics device, instead of capacitors, inductors, transistors and resistors, vacuum tubes are used, vacuum valves are used, which burns out periodically as the one task gets completed. Here, right now we are not discussing about the first generation of the computer, but I am just revising that topic very briefly. For that computer, the operating system which is used to enter the user's data into the first generation of computer, the operating system is used called batch operating system. In short, for the first generation of computer, the OS which is used by the operators are batch operating system. Now what happens into the batch operating system? Into the batch operating system there is a external input device is there, which again bigger in a size, and special computer operators are occupied for writing the user's data on that particular device with their technical knowledge. Once they have done their task, they insert that particular input device into the first generation of computer. Computer accepts or rejects the information which is given by that particular technical person through that input device. If everything goes proper, computers started working on that inputs. That first generation computer generates the output and stored that output on a same input device. Operator eject that particular input device from the first generation of computer, reads that information which is generated by the system, and then it give back to the end user. Obviously, it's a time consuming matter. Just imagine if this particular execution of the computer is carried forwarded till date. Could we use the computer's functionality? Obviously no. Day by day, the technology improves. Generally, how can we justify the word called technology? As per my review, I might be wrong, but as per my review, technology is actually the reduction in a size and the improvement into the functionalities. I says this as a technology. Again, I am repeating my words. As per my review, the technology means reduction in the size of the gadget which we are using and improve into the functionality which we are using through that particular gadgets with the consideration of time execution. This is the technology. Let's come back to the batch operating system. Now, operator reads that particular output given by the computer and return back to the user in their regional language. It's a time consuming matter. Now, the input device which is used by the computer operator to feed the data into the system and whatever the system returns, that input device is called as punch card. So, into the first generation of computer, for using the batch operating system, the device is used called punch card. In that punch card, the data is written and then inserted into the system. System returns with the output. Operator reads it and inform the particular user for their requested output. Now, here this is the functionality of batch operating system. Currently, even we are using this batch operating system too in terms of ATM card. If you are using the ATM card, it's a punch card which you insert into the system for validating your account number and name for the ATM machine. If you look to the ATM card, there is a magnetic tap in the card. What is written inside that magnetic tap? Just only the two things. One is your account number and second is your name. ATM machine validate all these two things and then that machine asks you to enter your PIN number. It's a task of batch operating system. Anyways, there is a problem of using batch operating system. That means the drawback of batch operating system, which comes in front of the technical guys. That disadvantage is the lack of interaction between user and the job. That means user is not directly interacted with the computer hardware. They requires a support of computer operators. Second is, in batch operating system, central processing unit becomes ideal because the speed of the mechanical input output devices is slower into the first generation of computer, or we can say the central processing unit. Even due to these two drawbacks, or we can say the disadvantage, the third becomes into the consideration is it is difficult to provide the priority of the task which is not automatically done by the first generation of computer as they are using batch operating system. Why I am trying to communicate with all of you? Very simple. In punch card, the input is written by the computer operator. Computer operator is a second person. That particular computer operator doesn't know the priority of the task. Say for example, user have 3 tasks, 1, 2 and 3. 3 is very important. They have submitted all these 3 tasks to the computer operator. Computer operator doesn't know the priority task, and he has or she has written that particular all these 3 tasks not in a sequence. That means first execution of the task is task number 2, then 1 and then 3. But user need third one to be get executed priority. Computer accepts all these 3 requests as per the sequence given by the computer operator, and computer executes the first task, then it executes computer executes the second task as a first task, then it executes the first task as a second task, and lastly it executes the third task. Ultimately, user doesn't get the priority. Yes, if user informs a computer operator and he has understand the request of that particular user properly, and according to that he according to that computer operator has fitted the information, then the first generation computer which use the batch operating system gives the appropriate output. In short, user is dependent onto the computer operator, and this is one of the drawback of first generation computer who use batch operating system. Anyways, let's go ahead. This was all about, we can say, the batch operating system. The next one comes into the picture is time sharing operating system. Obviously, this is another type of operating system which is more advanced than the batch operating system. It has some advantages, even it has disadvantages, as after that the third one is also there into the queue. So in next lecture we will discuss about time sharing operating system in detail. Thank you very much students for listening me, and have a nice day.